welcome to the Intel Brief, your daily intelligence briefing on global geopolitics. Today is Wednesday, 20 November. I'm your host Daniel, the founder of HM Intelligence, and every weekday we bring you not just the news, but the so what from the events and decisions that shape our world. So grab a coffee and get ready to be informed. In today's update, we'll be covering a prominent Ugandan opposition figure has been kidnapped and jailed. Russia has arrested a German citizen on sabotage charges, and Greece has been stopped by a 24-hour general strike over the cost of living. So firstly, Winnie Banyami, the wife of prominent Ugandan opposition leader Kizza Besigye, has claimed that her husband was kidnapped in Kenya and subsequently detained in Uganda. He is a vocal critic of the current president and appeared in a Kampala military court on Wednesday, facing charges of unlawful possession of a firearm, which he denied. Despite objections from his family and lawyers about his detention within a military facility, given that he is a civilian, he was remanded to prison until December 2nd. The incident has drawn attention due to his wife's high-profile role as the executive director of UNAIDS and her strong demand for his release. Kizza Besigye, a former physician to the current president during his rebel days, has been a steadfast opponent of his long rule, running against him in multiple elections. He is a member of the Forum for the Democratic Change and a critic of repressive laws, including Uganda's anti-homosexuality legislation. Reports indicate that he was kidnapped in Kenya during an event hosted by veteran Kenyan opposition leader Martha Karua. The incident highlights ongoing allegations of human rights abuses under the current president's regime, which has often targeted political opponents with detention and alleged torture. Kenyan authorities, who had previously deported FTC members, have yet to comment on the matter, while the Ugandan government states it is investigating the disappearance. So what? This is a very interesting situation, but not the first time that an African leader has been kidnapped by opposition figures and brought them back to their home country to face trial. While I don't know enough about Ugandan politics to form an assessment on the topic, it is likely that he will be found guilty of whatever crimes he has been accused of and put in prison for a very long time, or until the current president can be ousted. And next, Russian authorities arrested a 57-year-old German citizen on charges of sabotage and terrorism, alleging his involvement in a March 2024 explosion at a gas distribution station in Kaliningrad. According to the FSB, the man was detained at the border while carrying explosives in his vehicle. Russian state media claimed he was tasked by the Ukrainian government to orchestrate an unspecified attack on local energy infrastructure. Germany's foreign ministry confirmed the awareness of the case, but refrained from commenting directly. Meanwhile, Germany's consulate general in St. Petersburg is coordinating with the Russian authorities and has offered consular support. The arrest adds to the already strained relations between Russia and Germany, which have worsened since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Western governments have frequently criticized Russia for allegedly fabricating charges against foreign nationals purely to hold them in detention. This incident reflects broader tensions between Russian authorities are reportedly seeking potential accomplices in connection with the case, while diplomatic engagement between Berlin and Moscow over the matter continues. So what? It was interesting to see how these explosives were reported. While it could have been a translation error, it would significantly limit the types of explosives he was carrying, as they were referred to as liters. Although it is possible that this man was acting on behalf of Ukraine, it is also just as possible that he was merely another victim caught in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong country's passport. Furthermore, it seems unlikely that Ukraine would send a German national for such a mission, It would likely be simpler to rely on someone from Russia who might be sympathetic to Ukraine's cause and be willing to carry out such attacks. As always, we'll wait to see what evidence is presented by the Russians, if any is at all. And lastly, Greece has come to a standstill on Wednesday as workers staged a 24-hour general strike to protest the rising costs of living and demand for better wages. The strike, organised by unions such as GSEE, the country's largest private sector union, halted metro services, ferry operations, and construction work, while closing down schools and government offices. Public sector unions are calling for 10% wage increases and the reinstatement of additional salaries that were cut during Greece's financial crisis. Even employer unions have joined the causes, urging the government to adopt measures to improve workers' living standards. While essential services such as public hospitals continued, most of the country's daily operations were disrupted, with marches planned in major cities. The strike reflects growing dissatisfaction with the current Prime Minister, which has been criticised for the handling of inflation and housing policies. Although the government has raised the minimum gross monthly wage to €830 since 2019 and pledged further increases, many Greeks argue that the measures are not sufficient, given the soaring costs of energy, food, and rent. So what? Greece has been facing tough financial issues for several years now, but this has taken it to another level. Sadly, it is unlikely that the current government will have many levers to pull to change the current issues, as they are similar to ones seen across Europe. It will be interesting to see if the EU can come to the rescue and provide Greece with some assistance that may improve their current conditions. Unfortunately, any type of support will likely come with significant reductions in public spending, something that Greek governments are generally against. Thank you for listening to the Intel Brief, your daily intelligence briefing on global geopolitics, brought to you by HM Intelligence. If you want to support the podcast, tell your friends to help them stay informed, and leave us a 5-star review. Or if you want to learn more about intelligence, why not take one of our courses? They're all online, self-paced and affordable. Thank you for listening. I've been your host Daniel, and I'll see you next time.